Hello guys, we have today Andrea from ottimacheese. He's a great friend of mine and today we're gonna talk about cheese industry and cheese business in Vietnam.
Exactly. Buongiorno, good morning.
The first question I have for you, how you end up to making mozzarella and burrata here in Vietnam? Where the idea coming from?
Well, the idea is a combined idea between my wife,
Okay.
Miss Tui, and me. As she always worked in the F&B industry, having a local restaurant here.
I didn't know about that.
When she was very young, when she was like 23 until 26.
Okay.
She used to have a restaurant, and she was doing local food, but also spaghetti, hamburgers. And she was always interested. She's always been interested in making good food, good quality food. We had the chance to go to Italy together. She tasted for the first time the mozzarella cheese and especially the burrata, and she loved it at the first moment. Loved it first bite. So in 2014, we had the chance also to meet one farmer who was breeding cows in a very conscious way, in a lovely way. The cows were really loved, and they were producing milk of exceptional quality. We decided to try, and we made our first batch of mozzarella that we distributed to chef friends. The feedback was immediately good, and some of them asked us, how much is the price? Because if you're producing, I'm going to buy it for our restaurant.
People start to be curious.
We didn't think about that on that scale and at that moment, but we decided to keep it cool and slowly started to think to make it in a correct way, at least. We went back to Italy to study and to work in Puglia in a cheese lab that was small but
Very professional.
very traditional also. And there we learned the first secrets, thanks to Maestro Colachico, who will be always in our heart. So we came back to Vietnam and we decided to start to embrace this challenge.
What's the advantage and disadvantage to making business in Vietnam?
The advantage is that in Vietnam you start doing. You plan what you have to do. You have to plan it carefully, but you start immediately. And then you follow the rules right after.
Okay.
So it's a country that promotes the entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I noticed too. Because if you want the things make happen, you can make it happen, and quite fast. It's not like in Italy that too many bureaucracy, right?
In Italy, just to tell you some numbers, when we opened ottimacheese, the biggest investment was the first equipment to make cheese. And we invested $12,000. In Italy, if you want to open a company that makes cheese, before doing anything, you have to spend 180,000 euro in taxes. And you still not buy even one pot.
Correct.
Nothing. So that cuts the leg of the entrepreneurs, especially the young entrepreneurs, which maybe feel of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
In Vietnam, you don't have that problem. And also, as long as you go into your journey, the tax percentage is not high. So you will see a lot of young people, not only from other countries, but also from Vietnam, that are happily doing business or starting to do business. And their first thought, the first concern is not about how many taxes do I have to pay.
Correct.
Is how can I do better to succeed? And that creates a healthier environment for the business in general.
Yeah. How about the disadvantage?
Well, the disadvantages can be different factors. As a Vietnamese, you have a lot of small enterprises, so the competition can be really high. And as a foreigner, you may face a different way of thinking and, let's say, different priorities being given to the everyday activity. So you will challenge yourself in adapting, being able to adapt or not to these differences. the cultural differences are not only the people smiling and using the chopstick when they eat. There are
Many other small things that you have to
exactly,
consider.
exactly, and that surprise you because sometimes you think, how can they think that way? But they think that way, and they do well. Who are we to judge as a foreigners? Who are we to judge? So these are the biggest, let's say, disadvantages, together with the language. That if you're a foreigner,
Language is
it's
really
one of
hard.
the most difficult in the world.
Yeah,
They say
yeah.
it's the seventh most difficult language in the world.
Yeah, correct.
Yet sometimes you have the ability to understand other people
Yeah.
in a almost complete way.
Yeah.
But sometimes really you meet another person. Where am I? I don't know, what am I saying? What is this person saying? And that there is no always an explanation for that.
But the good things is also like between Hanoi and Saigon, sometimes they don't understand each other.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
in the
well,
case,
in our case, we come from Italy.
correct.
And in Italy,
We have a lot of
differences in the Italian language, many dialects. So it happens in Puglia to learn how to make cheese. I was not able to understand when they were starting to speak in strict dialect. I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
Where are they from?
So you need another translator to translate your own language.
Exactly.
Ever cross your mind and say, let me put some mozzarella with the local ingredients? Tell me. I'm sure you do that. So you did it
Yes,
before. So
yes.
what was the experiment? Tell me.
I did it. Since I love also Asian food,
Okay.
and I can cook something here in Vietnam, something Vietnamese, I wanted to mix, let's say, the most basic Vietnamese food with our beloved mozzarella. And I took the rice of the day before, and I made it crispy in a pan.
Okay.
Adding some pepper as well and some oil until it was like a cake,
cheese.
a big base. Okay, crispy, a little bit golden color, and then I put some sprinkles of chili, dry chili, and then I put one mozzarella on top of it, and I sliced it. The milk in the mozzarella went on the rice, the crispy rice, and then since I didn't put any salt, and we know that here the rice is plain, it's not having any salt, I put some soya sauce on it, and it was wonderful. I mean, the soya sauce, it was enhancing, not only giving more flavor and more saltiness to the mozzarella and the rice, but it was enhancing the milky flavor and the fatty flavor of the mozzarella. And the mozzarella itself was mixing very well with the crispy rice, because all you have in mozzarella is fat filling, fresh, milky, and child memories.
Sure.
And what you have in the crispy fried rice is exactly crispiness, crunchiness.
So it's nice combination.
And it was a combination that was, for me, it was perfect. So
do you tell this to other Italian about this experiment? And what's the reaction?
I said, I had the chance to speak about that, to tell this story about, with our former Italian Consul General.
Mr. Dante.
Mr. Dante, exactly. And he told me, good, I'm going to remove you from the Italian list.
No more passport.
Yeah, I'm gonna take your passport back.
What was the biggest challenge that you have here in your business? Let's say to making cheese, so mozzarella, burrata, ricotta here in Vietnam. What was the biggest challenge?
But for sure, the lack of equipment.
Especially in the early days, I guess.
In the early days, but even now, it's not easy to find some technical equipment to make fresh cheese in Southeast Asia in general. We had to study and to design everything and get all the pot and the molding table, the stretching table, all the filters and everything handmade.
So you need to explain to everyone how do the design.
Luckily, I'm good in drawing.
Okay.
And I was bringing my drawings to one smith who was working with inox steel in District 5. So from my place to District 5, it took every time like a good 45 minutes.
All right.
And I was going there and tried to explain to him in Vietnamese what I wanted.
Yeah.
And the guy was really good. He was working, giving us the best quality, the best metal, the best steel 304, which is the good one.
Yeah, the good one.
For the food. But first, he was always trying to be really more expensive than necessary because, hey, there is the foreigner, so he's rich.
While in the start, no one's rich,
Yeah,
right?
no, exactly. And second one, it was difficult to understand. And he was a very passionate person. So when
Hot
he
blood.
did not agree about something, he was telling me straight, no, this is wrong. And I was telling him, you're not making cheese. I know what I need. Why you tell me that is wrong? And no way. It was difficult sometimes, but I had a lot of fun. We were on his shop.
You still friends
On
with
the
him
street.
now?
No, because he moved to another district very far. And but you see, this guy was also head of some, I cannot say mafia because...
Crime.
But he was like, long hair, many tattoos, always only shirts, only shorts, no T-shirt, and big necklace and stuff like that. So he was really tough guy, a pirate.
Yeah, kind of a pirate.
But we became friends because I was always there. And of course, what he was asking, I was paying. So we became kind of a friend. So the biggest challenge was to have all the equipment, all the necessary equipment made, tailor-made for us. Luckily, the costs here are not as high as in Europe. Funny stories, yes, we got one. Because when you produce a lot of cheese, you need to cut the curd. And to cut the curd, you need to go very deep with something that is...
Kind of long knife.
It's a blade, it's long blade, okay? It doesn't need to be sharp, but it's very long. You need to go at the bottom of the pot, so it needs to be very long. And believe me, to come back from District 5 with a sword long like this on the motorbike, and more than one people was looking at me. And going a little bit far, especially
I avoid you.
I will not disturb you, especially because District 5, we know, is the place that sometimes is not always quiet.
Correct.
But that was fun. Fun.
So you was the biggest machete on
like a katana in the middle of Saigon. Luckily, I didn't meet any police.
Saigon is full of young people. And many of them, they want to do actually food business. What kind of advice you can give them about making food business here in Vietnam? And in Saigon, for be specific.
Well, it's true. Saigon is full of places where you can eat, or you can drink a coffee, you can have a drink, you can have a banh mi, the sandwich, a very famous one. The advice is first invest some time in clarify your ideas.
Yeah.
Because you need to be a little bit different from other
others.
people. And the more you have ideas that are clear, the better it is for yourself and for the final product that you're going to deliver to the public. Another advice is remember that the companies are made of people. So the more specific and beloved is your network, the easier is your starting point. If you are in a group of people who love one kind of food and you love that kind of food, think of them. They would be not only your first clients, not only your first customers, but also the first people who are going to tell you maybe some suggestions. And you can decide to follow or not to follow. Good thing is that here everybody is enthusiast about food and beverage. They understand about coffee because coffee is one of the most famous products in Vietnamese economy. And they understand about food because Vietnamese people, they are almost obsessed by food. I can say that they are almost all of them, they are foodies.
Yeah.
They tell you with no hesitation what is their favorite dish.
They don't mind to travel quite far to go to try new places.
Exactly.
Sometimes we have customers in District 2 that they're coming from completely different side of the city, and they don't mind to drive like 45 minutes to try. Of course, then there will be no every day for sure because it will be too far.
They behave like foodies, and they are truly foodies, even if they are not always wealthy people. So if you want to start your food business or your business in the F&B industry, have very clear ideas and be open to the suggestion of the people.
What's your favorite place to eat? Any place you can choose. To eat Vietnamese food, of course.
Yeah. Oh, well, I love Vietnamese food, and I will not reply. I will not answer with a specific place. It is not a place with an address. It's the. In general, I love to eat on the small street food places.
Yeah.
You have small restaurants with plastic table, plastic stools. You sit there. You have chickens running, passing by. You're lucky if they're only chickens. Sometimes some rat, but okay.
And people screaming to order.
People screaming to order. It's people smoking, putting ice in the glass with the same hands that they were cleaning the table before. I mean, it's a potpourri of things. We accept that because it's the lifestyle of Saigon. And the street food in Saigon is really something unique. You have those restaurants where you can find a big variety of dishes. Some of these restaurants, they have surprisingly big menus with a lot of options. There is something spicy, there is a soup, there is something crunchy, there is something that you can eat every time of the day. Poultry, ducks, pork, meat, everything, cow. And you can, beef, sorry, not cow. And you can enjoy any kind of food, or mostly with beer, okay? And in those places, you will see any kind of people going.
Yeah.
I mean, you sit there.
From the millionaire to the contractor guy.
Exactly. You have people who are working and in the construction on the opposite side of the street.
I guess because also it's the real flavor, right? So it's the real flavor that people are looking for, so they don't mind to...
It's what they're confident.
Yeah, correct.
It's what they grow up with.
Correct.
There is Saigon. The food for the rich people would be the foreign food, but the majority of the Vietnamese people, they are really attached to food, their traditional food.
But this one we are kind of similar to Italians.
Yes,
Also Italians are very similar on that.
Well,
we are the
typical, oh, how you eat in Italy, you don't eat anywhere.
Exactly.
And where are the most beautiful women in the world? And the sea in Italy. When we say that about Italy, we feel a little bit pathetic. But it is true that Vietnamese people, they say that, and they truly love their place, their food, also their way of eating and living, which is mixed between inside the house and outside the house. Weather is always, I mean, it's always summer here in Saigon.
Yes.
And you literally have any kind of people. I mean, sometimes you see a Bentley parking right in front of the street restaurant. People come out of the Bentley, they sit in the plastic chair, they eat with you, and you are not, I mean, this is
not
something
used to,
that in Italy we would be shocked about. You finish eating your chicken, the bone, you throw it on the floor. You finish your beer, and the empty can, you throw it on the floor. On first moment, it looks very dirty. It's a bad habit. But then you realize the restaurant owner is sleeping in the restaurant. So that's his house. Before going to sleep, he cleans up everything.
Yeah.
And by the day after, by the morning after, everything is clean.
Show must go on.
Yes, exactly. So it is not dirty. These restaurants, sometimes they don't have the refrigerator.
And they consume everything. What they buy, everything fresh.
They have to use everything they buy. So everything's fresh. I'm here since 17 years. I've never got stomach problems by eating in those places. Never. So I guess my stomach is also used to the bacteria, of local bacteria. But I think it's really a beautiful theater. Sometimes you have streets full of street restaurants, one after the other one, with people partying, especially in the holidays. You have a lot of people going out every night. Also because to eat in these restaurants is cheaper than to eat at home.
Also, if you consider a part of buying the product, you need also to cook and to have the process for
exactly.
it. So.
You have to buy, go home, clean it, use the gas, eat, wash your dishes, and spend more money. While when you go to the restaurant, it's there, it's ready. You also have other friends around.
5 minutes.
And that's it. So
very good.
I recommend the street food here.
Deal. Okay, so for
Really.
today's everything, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks a lot, really.
Okay,
It's
let's
really good.
let's see how everything goes. Have a good day.
Well, it will go well.
Thank you.
Thanks. Funny stories, yes, we got one, because when you produce a lot of cheese, you need to cut the curd. And to cut the curd, you need to go very deep with something that is...
Kind of long knife.
It's a blade, it's long blade, okay? It doesn't need to be sharp, but it's very long. You need to go at the bottom of the pot, so it needs to be very long. And believe me, to come back from District 5 with a sword long like this on the motorbike, and more than one people was looking at me. And going a little bit far, especially
to avoid you.
I will not disturb you, especially because District 5, we know, is the place that sometimes is not always quiet.
Ever cross your mind and say, let me put some mozzarella with the local ingredients? Tell me. I'm sure you do that. So you did it before. So what was the experiment? Tell me.
I did it. I wanted to mix, let's say, the most basic Vietnamese food with our beloved mozzarella. I took the rice of the day before and I made it crispy in a pan.
Okay.
Then I put one mozzarella on top of it and I sliced it. I put some soy sauce on it. It was a combination that was, for me, it was perfect. So,
do you tell this to other Italian about this experiment? And what's the reaction?
I said, I had the chance to speak with our former Italian consul general, and he told me, I'm going to take your passport back. And